God is not delayed when it comes to you, your life, the promises he's made over you, your struggles, all of that. We think that God needs to fit into our box and our version of what our timeline should look like or the things that we want. And on the surface, that would be nice, but underneath, it would actually destroy us. It would ruin us. And let's talk about that a little bit. So, God is not delayed as we would call it. There's a Bible verse, forgive me, I forget the reference, but he is not slack concerning his promises. He doesn't just forget about them. Oh yeah, I forgot I mentioned that, or oh yeah, you're right. You have not been forgotten. You are the apple of his eye, just like I am, just like everyone else is. He has the ability to look at you as if you're the only person on this planet and this universe that ever existed and ever will exist and say, yep, I still would do it all for you all over again. That's how amazing and powerful and big that he is. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. And any God that I can wrap my head around and put into a box is not a God worth worshiping. Like, think about that for a minute. I want there to be more and more and bigger things to him that I just will never understand. And that's the God that he is. But he's not slack concerning his promises. When he says things, when he's working things for you and for your life, that it's it's good. It will be good. If it's not good, it's not finished, right? He makes all things beautiful in his time. That's in Ecclesiastes 3. Everything will become beautiful in its own time, but things take time. There's no mistake that in Ecclesiastes 3, that verse comes directly after Solomon talking about there's a time for everything under the sun, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time for war, a time for peace, a time to laugh, a time to cry, right? There are times and seasons set aside for everything, and that each thing in its own time, in its own appointed time, will be good and perfect in its time because he is working it all together for our good. Romans 8:28. And I'll be honest with you for a minute, like I struggled to believe that for a long time. I grew up and thought that, you could read the, oh, he's working all things together for our good, right? God is for you. Who can be against you? All of those things. I used to think, yeah, right. Like, I'm not worth it. I'm not worthy. Who am I? God is so big. Like, how narcissistic of me to think that the God of the universe, if there is a God of the universe, would be working all things together for my good. Doesn't that sound twisted? That I would believe and get myself to think that I am manipulating the God of the universe to do my will because it's my will. Doesn't that elevate me above him? Like, I used to think that subconsciously and even consciously. Like, and I admit that. And maybe a lot of people, maybe you think that way too, watching this, that you're not wrong. That's the human instinct to think that way. But genuinely, we have to go out on faith because he said it. We have to believe it. That's the lie that gets planted in us that we want to believe that, like, I don't need that. I don't want that. In an act of self-righteousness, that I would choose to be, to deny that I am self-righteous, that I will deny myself that, even if I did have that ability, that power. Like, I used to think that way. And it's a lie to think that. Like, because God says it, it's true. That's just the reality of it. And so when you take him at his word, the Bible says to be like children, that we're just approaching and believe him for what he says. Don't be cynical. Don't try to overthink it. Don't try to find reasons why it's wrong or your experience tells you otherwise or blah, blah, blah. You said it, it's going to happen. That's what kids do. That's how he wants us to be to him. And so getting to this concept of he's not late concerning his promises, everything is good in its own time. Everything needs to happen in its own time. But the things that are happening in your life leading up to that promise, whatever it is, you need to go through that. For me and my family, I am really waiting to buy a house again. I am just chomping at the bit. It's been over 3 years since I've had my name on a mortgage, and God has taken us through wilderness seasons of just rentals and stewardship and teaching us how to manage and steward and own again, because he gave the blessing years ago. I've owned many homes and it destroyed me financially. Um, that's the concept, is when he gives it to you too early, you can't handle it. Why would I give my kids the keys to the truck? They are going to wreck it. They need to be built up in the things that would enable them to be a good driver of that truck. And that's what God is doing in your life, is the seasons that you're going through, this hard stuff and this bitterness. And it's just like, oh man, like I'm just getting tossed through the ringer. Why can't I just have the goal? Why can't you just give me the goal? It's like, you're not ready yet. You're not strong enough to carry it. He's building your strength so that you can be strong enough to hold the blessing that he's getting you ready to have. And take it from me, the guy that he gave me all the blessings and I crushed under it. I crumbled under it because I could not maintain or hold it well enough. And so for me and my family, we're just waiting to buy a house again. And it's been tough many years, several years of just waiting and trusting him. But I know that he's good for it. And he said it's going to happen. So it will happen. Even if it takes longer than what I think it should, I will still love him. I will still worship him because I trust that his ways are higher than my ways. I trust that he's building me for something great. I'm not going to give my kids to some. I'm not going to give my kids the keys to the truck, like I said, because it would destroy them. They would hurt themselves. All of these things that it just would not be good for them. It's the same way for us. They may want it. They may think that they want it, and it's like, no, like trust me, you're not getting that right now. You will get it. It will be a good thing in its time. But right now, that would not be a good thing for you. That's what he says to you about so many other different things or different things that you might be walking through. We have to trust him. And it's this analogy that I've heard over and over again recently, and I like to use is it's like baking a cake. Like, what are the ingredients for a cake? I'm not a baker. My wife would be able to tell you better, but I do know there's flour. So flour on its own doesn't taste very good. Raw egg on its own doesn't taste very good. Baking soda, that doesn't taste very good. Sugar, that's pretty good. And so, what are those things? Each thing on its own is not exactly good, and each thing on its own is a season that you're walking through. Maybe you're walking through a flower season where you're like, this is kind of bland. Maybe you're walking through a baking soda season where you're like, this is actually not awesome. It's small, it's a little bit, but I'm like, this is like tart. Maybe it's a sugar season where it's like, hey, it's pretty good, but too much of this for too long is not going to be good. Like I'm enjoying it, but temper it a little bit. He takes all of that, each thing on its own doesn't really make much of a difference, but then he takes all of it on its own, he takes all of it together and he heats it and he will mix it together and he will heat it and refine it and concentrate it together. And out comes a cake, right? Something beautiful, something magnificent. We go, whoa, didn't see that coming. That's pretty cool. The point is, he's taking all these things together and he's building your character and your strength for what he's intending you to do, what he's intending you to hold and to carry next. The next season, the blessing of your life that he is preparing for you requires a version of yourself that you are not yet. If he gives it to you too early, it will destroy you and you will not be good for it. A good blessing, a good thing at the wrong time is going to be the wrong thing still. So you are not yet the version of yourself that you need to be to carry what he's creating you to hold. And that's an amazing thing when you think about it. He's refining you, he's testing you, he's building the character, he's building muscles and strength within you so that you know it's there. Like he knows it's there, he knows what's inside of you. He's refining you so that you have the ability to say, you know what, I know that I'm capable of managing this blessing because he said so, because he created me this way. I know that I'm able to handle this and to steward this well because he said so. That's the way he works. If he gives it to you and your heart is rooted in disbelief and your heart is rooted in bad habits and your heart is rooted on like the past and all these things that just are unbecoming of the conduct of a child of God, would that not destroy and ruin a person and those around them? I've been there and it's not a fun place to be. And he has to undo that and he has to rebuild the things into you that he wants for you in your life. So think about that for a minute. Ponder that. Where, in what areas is he doing that for you and giving you those things? And sometimes the blessing is big, so the refinement and the ingredients need to be bigger. My wife bakes bread, she bakes sourdough, and we've talked about this. It's like, hey, if you want to bake like 10 loaves, how much flour do you need? How much more baking soda do you need? I don't know what goes into sourdough, maybe not baking soda. But the point is, you need more ingredients for more output. If he's trying to create you to be stronger, you need a heavier weight to be able to lift repeatedly. If you need more cake to feed more people, you need more ingredients on the front end. You need more heat. You need more time. That's part of his process. And so take heart when you're walking through these seasons of like, man, this is just bitter, or it's not fun, or I feel like he's just forgot about me. He has not forgotten about you. Sometimes the heating, where it's hardest, that's the final part. You don't heat the cake up, you don't bake the cake before you get all the ingredients out. You walk through the seasons and the baking process, the heating and just the refining and when the temperature's at its hottest, that's when he's getting ready to pull you out because you're almost done. And he won't let you overdo it because he's perfect. An overdone cake is useless, right? And an underdone cake is useless. He's holding you in there for a right amount of time. It's the same gold refining analogy as well. He's holding you in there for the right amount of time so that when you come close to the end and he pulls you out, you will be good and you will be made beautiful in your own time. And that's not a statement of finality. We're never done on this earth because inevitably there's more things that he will continue to grow you in and for. Until we reach eternity, we're going to continue growing and overcoming things in this life. And even then, there's more that he has for us. But the point is, if life were all sunshine and rainbows and just fun all the time, that would be meaningless, as Ecclesiastes talks about. What is the point? And he does talk about that. Solomon talks about that. What's the point of toiling and just for the sake of, brevity or for the sake of like vanity? Like, what is the point of this? Just the same way you wouldn't, as a baker, just take a handful of sugar and just dump sugar into a bowl all the time because it feels good for the moment. It's good for the second. Mix it up and try to bake it. It's like, what have you done? You've gained nothing. It's an exercise in futility. It's good for nothing. And there's no meaningful gain to that. You need to start over. And so take heart. If he's got you in these difficult seasons, take heart. If it feels like he's forgotten about you, don't worry. He's closer than ever before and he's watching you. Where does the cake go? When it's in the oven, I'll bet the cake feels kind of lonely in there and you're just sitting there watching it up against the glass like, I'm ready for you. When you're ready, I'm watching you. That's how he is towards us. He has not forgotten about you. He's got his eye on you exactly, and he knows exactly what you can handle, and he knows exactly who he's growing you into be. Release the sense of self that says, I need it to go this way. I want to look this way. I need X, Y, and Z. Release the need for control over our lives and allow him to mold you and refine you into the person that he's already created you to be, and trust him in that. I hope this video is helpful and encouraging to you. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.